Hello, how you doing? It's Phil Thatch, and I'm here with my daughter Casey, and we are just about to go out on the Walnut Street pedestrian bridge in Chattanooga. And I had an idea of, wouldn't it be fun to stand Casey kind of on the bridge and take a lot of photographs of her, just kind of a head and shoulder sort of a photograph at a lot of different focal lengths. So what I'm going to do, I've got my 24 to 70 and my 70 to 200 full frame f2.8 lenses, and I'm going to make a 24, a 35, a 50, an 85, a 100, a 135, and a 200 of just Casey's shoulders and her head, and see how different she looks and how different the background looks at all of those different focal lengths. Are you ready?
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the bridge. All right, we're getting in position, and we have Watson with us as well. So while Casey's being our experimental model for these multiple focal length shots, she also has to watch the dog. Okay, Casey is going to stay right on this mark. She's not going to move at all, but I'm going to move back and forwards because I'm going to be using lots of different focal lengths. All right, I've got Casey on her mark, and I'm about to start with my 24 millimeter shot. Try to get the bridge and everything centered, because at 24 millimeters you can see the background quite a bit, even at 2.8.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Did you blink?
No, I moved the hair off my chin.
No, that's fine. That'll be fine.
Okay.
That's no problem. All right, so there's 24 millimeters. All right, here is the 24 millimeter shot, and as you can see, I've got Casey framed up here in the shot, and you can see lots of things in the background, lots of details of the bridge. It is at f2.8. All of these shots are at f2.8, and so the bridge is not firmly in focus in the background, but you can definitely see lots of details of the bridge, and also observe the shape of my daughter's face in these photographs as the focal length changes. Now we'll dial it up to 35. I need to try to get the tops of your shoulders in the shot with all these. All right. Here is the 35 millimeter shot, and you can see you can't see as much of the bridge in the background. The longer focal length is making the background look closer, where the wider focal length makes it look further away. And you can see my camera that I recorded the clip with is in the background, out of focus, but it's there, and as the focal length gets longer, it starts to disappear. Let's move back a little bit for the 50 shot. Here we are at 50 millimeters, and you can see the bridge is getting closer. Now, I'm not good at describing compression in terms of people's face, but as you observe these photographs, take a look at the shape of Casey's head, and some people say that with the longer focal lengths, sometimes the compression can be too much, and with the wider focal lengths, sometimes the lack of compression can be too much. So maybe you can look at these and pick what portrait focal length you like the best. We'll do a 70. All right. I picked all of these focal lengths because they are common prime lens focal lengths, with the exception of this one. I did 70 millimeters because it is the long end of a 24 to 70 lens, which a lot of people will use a 24 to 70 and replace their 24 and their 35 and their 50. And I used 70 so you could look at that and see if maybe 70 millimeters might replace your 85 millimeter prime. All right, time to change lenses. Okay, so now I have the 70 to 200. Still at 2.8. I'm going to dial it up to somewhere around 85. I'm just going to put it halfway between 70 and 100 and see what that comes out as. So now we are getting into the range that you would consider to be a serious portrait lens focal length. 85 millimeters is really a widely accepted perfect focal length for portraits, and it might be better for a full body portrait than this head and shoulder shot. As you can see, the background is completely crushed, even at 2.8. And you know, a lot of manufacturers make 85 1.8s and 1.4s and 1.2s, so the back would really be soft if you're doing just a head and shoulder shot. All right, now we'll dial it up to 100. Another common portrait focal length is 100 millimeters, or a lot of times 105 millimeters. And on this shot, you can see that the background is beautifully bokeh-fied. And I kind of like the amount of compression on my daughter's face here in this shot. Maybe for me, 100 millimeters is just right. Maybe I need to buy one of those Nikon 105 f1.4 lenses and use it for portraiture. Who knows? And now 135. Well, the background's getting really mushy at 135, 2.8. Here is the 135 millimeter shot. Super bokeh-fied in the background, and I like the shape of my daughter's head in this one as well. You know, Canon for EF mount makes a 135 millimeter f2 prime, which might be the perfect portrait focal length. I don't know. I'm trying to get to the bottom of it though in this video. Maybe a 70 to 200 is the way to go. That's what's actually making these photos. And last but not least, 200. Now this lens has a little bit of focus breathing, so we may not actually be at 200 millimeters just doing a head and shoulder shot with this lens. And here is the 200 millimeter shot. Now, I probably messed up the framing on this one a little bit. I should have scooted back just a little bit more. You can't even see the top of the University of Tennessee logo that's on my daughter's sweatshirt, but you sure can see how crushed the background is. And this gives you an idea of 200 millimeters for a headshot. All of these photographs are straight out of the camera raws. They are not edited at all. All right. What?
Can you take a picture of us too?
Oh, you want a picture with the dog? All right. Picture with the dog and the video camera in the background.
He's sitting so good.
Yeah, he's being great. So that full body shot was 70 millimeters. Are my glasses crooked?
Yeah, very much.
Here's the photograph I made of Casey and her dog Watson there with the Nikon ZFC vlogging camera recording in the background. And you can see that this 70 millimeter shot, the bridge is relatively in focus, not completely bokeh-fied like this 70 millimeter shot that I had made just before. This is just the head and shoulder shot at 70 millimeters, so I was much closer, and you can see it blows the background out quite a bit more than a full body shot. And so with that in mind, if you're doing full body portraiture like this, and you want the background to be severely blown out, you might need either a longer focal length or a wider aperture. So like an 85 1.2 might completely blow out the background. Now we'll go through and look at all the photographs quickly so you can get an idea of how they look as we go through them and compare the focal lengths and how things look.
as we make these 8 shots.
All right, thanks for joining me and Casey and Watson here on the Walnut Street pedestrian bridge for our experiment with taking the exact same picture with 8 different focal lengths. I hope you enjoyed it and found it informative. Have a great day. Give us a thumbs up, subscribe, hit the bell and all that stuff. And we look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye-bye.